What is going on, YouTube people? Yo, Cards and Comics here on the mean streets of New York City. We are making the walk down. It's Friday morning. And there you behold the Javits Center, home of Fanatics Fest for the next 3 days. We're about to head in, have to pick up my media badge, and see what this thing is all about this year. Early previews that I've seen from people that have show floor access already that have posted some stuff. It looks like it is definitely leveled up, at least in regards to like the pomp and circumstance. So we'll see what things look like once we're inside. But update shortly once I get the badge and get on in there. All right, we are back in the tops line. Things seem slightly more organized now. I waited about an hour to an hour and a half. Still a little bit of a line, but the window closes at 12, and I don't want to flirt with that. So, but it was a little less chaotic coming by now. It seems like they got overran with the morning rush. But, all right, we're gonna grab our Cactus Jack box and move on to the next thing. All right, as always, just waiting a little bit was the play. Gave them time to get things sorted out. It was much more organized over there now. I got through the line for my pickup slot in 15 minutes. And I was also able to purchase Top Series 2 blasters, so I snagged 2 of those as well. So I'm gonna go roam around the hobby hall now and really get a feel for that. I haven't had a chance to do that too much yet. So we're gonna see what's cooking in the actual. Let's actually look at some cards at the card show that we came to, you know. Okay, now I've ventured down to the downstairs level, and you can see this is the theater where the main panels take place. Right now, the crazy line is for the Ruben, Travis Scott, I think Tom Brady panel. The line is a mile long for that. But this is a space that they did not use last year at all. So you can see there is a sea of humanity waiting in line for the Brady and Ruben panel and Travis Scott. But like I was saying, this is an area they really did not utilize last year. And you can tell Lance is going back to his Comic-Con roots because this is the space that they utilize for Comic-Con. So normally, over here in this section would be where the entrance is, and then the heavy hitter autographs for Comic-Con. And they have moved a lot of that stuff down here, kind of copying that pattern, where back against this back wall, you have some booths and stuff. But as we head on over this general direction, back on that back wall there is autograph signings and photo ops. Then you can see you have JSA and CGC here doing authentication on stuff. You can swing over this way real quick. So they are much more maxing out the space of the building this time around. You could tell that they've had a go at this, for lack of a better term, because things like this, and I don't know exactly, I haven't done any autographs, so I'm not sure exactly how good or bad the experience is, but this is way, so this is the autograph area. You can see there's some lines. I think Peyton Manning's signing right now, Tracy McGrady, yeah, Peyton Manning's lines over there. But this whole section, they had squeezed into a little boot or the back wall last year. This is much more like Comic-Con in regards to the autograph setup. And then over here, this line here is for JSA authentication. Over here is the museum. They did this last year. There's some crazy stuff in here. There's some absolutely crazy stuff in here. It basically goes through the eras. So you have a bunch of vintage items there. this wall here has a bunch of old Topps products and some absolutely crazy sealed boxes, vintage sealed boxes. But this area is really, really big compared to last year. And then, like I said, there's some, I'll do a quick walkthrough of this. So this is a little ultra modern section with Skeens and Ellie. The Skeens 101 debut is upstairs at the Dick's booth. Here is an entire wall of 101 debut patches. A massive collection of 101 debuts in here. This section is all Ohtani, including a bunch of his super high ends. We've got superfractors in there. We got some Marvel stuff here. The Agamotto, Loki Staff, an Infinity Gauntlet. This back wall is pretty cool. This is all of Brady's game-used Super Bowl jerseys from his private collection. So they have those there. These ones over here, and then a bunch of his high-end cards. And as we loop around the other side, we have F1 has a section. Women in Sports has a section. And then most of the basketball stuff, like modern NBA, is over in this little section over here. We have some messy stuff. There are a bunch of autos in there. Are they real or are they not? Only PSA knows. Here is, this one's wild. This is an entire green PMG set, which is absolutely insane. There's a large Jordan section here with a bunch of game used items, a bunch of high-end cards. There's always a ton of people around that one. Kobe has his own little section. Couple red PMGs, dual logo man with LeBron. We got a LeBron section of a bunch of crazy high-end cards. The jersey that he broke the record in is here. And then last but not least, there's one more ultra modern section with Katie and Victor.
Wendy.
Got some
Wendy and Dwayne.
game used Katie's shoes.
Not as much of a
Bunch of high-end Wemby cards. So that's kind of the basement area. I spent most of the time upstairs. I just kind of roamed down here. Like I said, panels, autographs, and the museum are all down here, along with some other odds and ends and stuff. But those are the major things. Like I said, utilizing the space much better than this building has to offer to take some of the stress off the main show floor. So with that, we're going to head back upstairs and see what kind of trouble we can get into. Just got out of the Kevin Costner panel. Just got back up to the main show floor. That was really fun. He was really, really funny. Likes to drop F-bombs, which I didn't know. Told some funny stories about some stuff. But overall, a really good time. A couple notes, just observations. on the show in general. We're just going to kind of walk and talk here.
Let's see.
Show feels way busier than last year, especially for a Friday. Way more foot traffic in here. It feels like it feels even busier than it did on Saturday. Here's the NFL experience. And once again, this is not a card show. You can't think of it like that. This is not the National, nor will it ever be the National. It is the Comic-Con of sports, and there's a card show in it. And it, for sure, feels way more Comic-Con-y. I felt that as soon as I walked in the building. You could just tell. The corporate activations and the corporate booths are way bigger. They take up more show space, and that's not a bad thing. That's kind of what I expected. And this feels like a show that they had a second year at. You know, they had a year to improve upon some things. Was the tops line messy when I first got in here? Yeah. It got better as the day went on. The autograph area seems way better. That was a huge talking point from last year. This here is the merch village. So this is basically one huge Fanatics store with a bunch of little micro stores in it, and then you can check out and basically grab whatever you want. It's all one big centralized checkout spot. They've done some exclusive stuff there and some drops and whatnot. But it is definitely much more of a Comic-Con style vibe. You know, if you want pure cards, this is not the show for you. If you want to experience different sports things like a UFC octagon, a 40-yard dash, get some exclusive gear, then yeah, this might be the show for you. Over here is the Lids booth. I have not FOMO'd into a player chase box yet, so we're doing good there. We'll see how long that lasts. Whoop. This is the main center aisle of the show floor. And the modern hobby, of course, needs a sports book. We have the Fanatics sports book over here set up that you can hang out at. Place some wagers if you're of legal age. And then this will eventually, we'll just kind of walk along here, this will transition over into the main hobby portion, or the card portion, if you will. There's actually so much like content panel stuff that it's almost hard to get to certain things. There's been like overlapping things that I've wanted to go to. Whoop. I'm going to cut down this way to avoid the GZ 4040 nonsense. It is very loud over there. There is a lot more noise on the show floor this year than in previous year. That's for sure. I don't know that every booth needs to blast music super loud. I guess that's the old man in me coming out.
Ladies and gentlemen, who wants some free packs?
This is
Who wants some free packs?
Breakers Arena.
Where we at, Chad?
Set up.
I call him Chad in real life. Where we at, everyone? Welcome to Fanatics Fest. Oh, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the
basically a show of many loud noises. The microphone's going to get its work cut out for it today. Now we're back over to the Tops booth. Little card vault store. And now we're back over into the hobby area. So I actually, as sad as it sounds, I haven't spent a ton of time in the actual card area. I think that's going to be the plan for the last few hours today before the show floor closes up for the rest of the day today. So we're going to head into there and see what we can find. All right, it is the end of day one. There is only 40 minutes left in the show, so it's thinned out quite a bit. I'm gonna head out now, actually, so we'll just kind of wrap things up here. Show's way busier than last year, way busier than last year. All areas, the dealer area, the activations, the lines, the panels. It felt like on a Friday that it was busier than what it was on Saturday last year. I think the show is better laid out. I think they're using the space much more efficiently than they have in the previous year in regards to what I talked about with the autograph stuff downstairs, stuff like that. The couple dealers that I talked to so far, I did not. The hobby area, I probably spent the least amount of time in, just because I kind of wanted to get a lay of the land today. But the dealers that I did talk to seemed like they had a pretty good first day, that a lot of people were buying. A lot of people were selling as well. So we'll see how the rest of the weekend goes. Tomorrow is air quotes sold out. So we'll see how crazy it is in here. The top situation got better as the day went on. I picked up my Cactus Jack box. I'm still not 100% sure what I'm going to do with the Cactus Jack box. If I'm going to keep it, I'm either going to flip it or rip it. And then tomorrow I have to pick up my Series 2 and my F1 box. And the Series 2 I will definitely open. The F1 I'm 100% flipping. The Cactus Jack is the big decision because they're probably, I think they're reselling for about $1,200, give or take. And I paid $6 for it. That's a pretty easy flip. But the content gods might tempt me into ripping it. We'll see. I'm going to see if I can find a couple box breaks of it on in the content world tonight to get a feel for the product. I do have the 2 retail blasters. I'll definitely open those up. I don't know if I'll do that here or wait till I get home because it's hard to record that stuff in the hotel room. I don't have a great setup for it here. I can make it work, but so Fanatics Fest Day 1 is in the books. Panels were really fun, the one that I went to. That's the first time that I've done that. But like I said, my big takeaway here is they do seem like they have their act together in regards to running the show itself compared to last year. It's way busier. It's not replacing the National. It's not a card show. It is a card. It's a sports Comic-Con with some vendors. And that's how you have to think of it. If you come in thinking it's thousands and thousands of dealer tables, that's not what you're here for. It's a portion of it. It's maybe not even a quarter of it. Maybe 1/5 of the floor is dealers on the main show floor. It's all about the league activations and all the pomp and circumstance, which is fine, as long as you know what you're getting yourself into. If you're coming here thinking it's the National, that's not going to be the case. It's never going to be, and it doesn't want to be, which is fine. But fun show as always. We'll see how the next 2 days plan out. That's all I got for you, boys and girls. Curious for your thoughts and comments down below. If you happen to be at the show, let me know what you thought or what you saw through the lens of content if you weren't able to get in the door or make the trip. So signing off for day one. Catch you boys and girls on the next one. Peace.